That worked. Excellent. Thank you so much for being on. I just want you to know that I love to multitask and I've gotten an under the desk elliptical machine. And I quite often like to do two things at the same time. That's why I got two screens so I could keep something going and do something here. And now I can do three things at the same time. I just love having this under desk elliptical machine. It's not for exercise as much as it is for circulation. And I just always feel like I'm moving instead of just sitting. So it's pretty awesome. All right. Anybody have any oil stories they want to share? I'm going to start with a few to get you thinking. And then if you have something you want to share. So this frankincense stick sits here on my desk. And what they've done in putting the frankincense into a stick is make it, and I can never remember what this is called. Decollage? Decollage? Is that what it's called? Decollage? I don't know.
Ridiculous.
What is it?
You got it right.
Decollage. Anyway, this is where I use it every day, trying to help the skin right here be healthy. I also use it on the cuticles that are having a hard time and get a little hard sometime. It's really nice to have it for that. I know a lot of people that have spots all over their arms and areas that they, pick at and stuff, and they've used it and had great success with it too. So that's one of my favorite things. And then I wanted to share, I did some traveling since our last class, and my legs were just getting, I don't even know how to explain how they felt. I wonder if it was like restless leg syndrome because just sitting in the car for a long period of time, and even when I tried to move them or shake them out or something, they just felt really stiff and really odd. So what I did was I took my doTERRA lotion, which is unscented, and I had Aroma Touch with me and put a few drops of that in the lotion. And every night and every morning, I would just do my legs and my feet. And the way home was so much better, and I haven't had any problems since getting home. But I just love having this unscented lotion, which is so high quality. You don't feel oily after you're done. It's just amazing. And then the Aroma Touch, of course, helps the circulation and helps. So that was my oil story for the week. Does anybody else have something that they'd like to share that has worked for them lately?
I do actually.
Hey.
So this was probably about a month ago, but I watch a little baby a couple times a week. He's just over a year old, and his mom has been, pumping and feeding him the milk that way, and she was, losing her milk. And so I was like, I'd shared oils with her in the past, gave her some little of the children's blends to use on the baby and stuff, and she used them and stuff. So I knew she would respond well to it. So I made her a roller bottle using fennel and cardamom, I think it was. No, clary sage. It's clary sage. And gave it to her, and I was like, you can try this. You put it on several times a day. I told her all the instructions and stuff, and see if it helps increase your milk supply. And it did. Within a couple days, she was like, I have more milk than I've had in like 2 weeks and stuff. And so she's
Awesome.
still able to, produce the milk to feed him and stuff because I did that. So
Yay. Does it make you feel so good to help
yeah.
somebody out naturally? Thank you, Heather. Thanks for sharing that. Oh, that's wonderful. I know the feeling of having somebody get help is why I do this and why I love to share. So thank you so much. All right, we're going to turn time over to Jolene, but first I just want to say Jolene's in her new home and I've gone to visit so I can see her beautiful space and her office. But what you don't see from where she's sitting is that she lives on a mountain and she has a deck around the bottom floor and a deck around the top floor. And to have just gone out there and enjoyed what view she gets to see every day. But it wasn't just the view, it was the peaceful quiet. It is just so peaceful. And I'm a little bit jealous of that peaceful outside nature wonderment. Just so wonderful. Thankful and excited for you to have such a beautiful home to live in. And Jolene deserves it. She's already thinking of ways she can share it with all of us and have events and have us come visit. And we're thinking of doing that before convention next year. Spend a day or two at Jolene's house before we do convention. So that would be pretty cool. Anyway, she is wonderful. I'm so excited to hear what she has prepared for us today. We'll turn time over to Jolene.
Thanks. Can I'm can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So we're just going to delve right into it. This is like I talk to Shalene all the time, so I'm not sure I'm teaching a class or talking to her, but I'm glad that you guys got on. And I preparing this was a really good one because I have a lot of love for the oil, but I have never like gone into like the depth of presenting the ins and outs and the whys and that kind of stuff. So that was kind of nice because Dr. Riggs has put so much into all of this, and he has put together a class that you can do like a 101 class with Shinrin-Yoku as the main focus of it. And he did it while out in nature, and it was just really cool. He's really passionate about it, and his desire to ground ourselves in this way where we can't go out in nature. Most of us, some of us can, most of us can't because of where we live. And I mean, there's statistics all over the place about how many people live in the cities versus the low percent even gets to spend a week or two, maybe on vacation out in nature like that. And so in the presentation, we'll go over a little bit about that's exactly why Shinrin-Yoku was developed and put together to get the effects so that we can have both. But we're going to talk about both of them and why the power is. And if I had, I'm still getting used to my surroundings. So I wanted my front window to be the background here, but this is where I'm at with glitches in the day. So I will enjoy it. So, sorry. My computer still gets messages. Okay, so I'm going to try. They changed this so much that you never know what you're seeing.
Yes. Sorry about that.
Nope. Deciding where I go.
I just realized you have like the Shinru forest bathing experience just stepping onto your porch because you're just in nature.
That's true. Okay, what do you see?
I still don't see anything. I'm just seeing the four of us. So it's not quite sharing your screen. Is that what you're trying?
Yeah.
So Shinrin-Yoku is a blend of oils that doTERRA came out with a year ago. Oh, here we go. We see it. So you might want to make it presenter mode so it's the whole screen, but we're seeing what you're sharing. There we go. Looks great. Yep.
All right. So I'm not going to do a lot of readings. I might keep looking down to grab my notes because it doesn't have both of those on the same one. So we're going to start here. This is familiar to everybody here, but the wellness pyramid is like so masterful. And just as a quick review, the foundational is nutrition and digestion. And then we need to movement and metabolism, and then rest and stress. And that's the one that we're going to talk about today. That's where the Shinrin-Yoku falls into, is in this part. And it fits so nicely into that because we have such a hard time managing our stress. No matter what we do, no matter how calm we might be, there's always stress in every one of our lives. There's no way to get out of it, but there are ways that we can make it more less stressful. How's that? More less stressful. There are definite ways, and when we have them, at our disposal and is one thing. Remembering to use them when we're in that stress mode is another thing. And so one thing that I'd really like you to consider as we're presenting is, especially if this is a way that sounds like it that might help de-stress for you, to make sure that you have it readily available, whether it's in diffusing or with a the roller bottle, or however it is that you like to use it. Have what you need available for when you need it, not figure out where it is after you're already in that position. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So, and there's lots of different natural ways to address stress. We are going with the forest bathing. So in this class, what we're hoping to have is to gain some understanding of what forest bathing is. It's kind of a new concept for all of us.
Yep.
And I keep finding it interesting that it's only been in our lifetime that forest bathing has become a thing, as in letting us be aware of it and acknowledge it and see the need for it. Because before our generation, our grandparents and great-grandparents lived in the outdoors. And so that's not our culture now. And so we need it a whole lot more. And there are health benefits to it. And then we're going to talk about just some simple ways to make that happen. Okay. So what is Shinrin-Yoku? It's the practice of walking through the forest with a specific, that's a really important, without a specific destination in mind. While forest bathing is important to maintain a sense of wonder about the environment. So a lot of times we think that we just, okay, we'll go out into nature and we'll hike and we'll get to this place and we'll, push ourselves, and it has to be challenging or what. That's not what we're talking about here. When it says that you go without a specific destination in mind, is a key point to what we're talking about here. So, and it's a time to remember what it's like to be young and in a new environment. Trees are exciting because of how tall they are. Moving water is thrilling to see as you put a twig and watch it flow downstream. Watch for the insects crawling across the branches and leaves. They're fascinating to see. When you go walking in the forest or walking in the park, do you watch for any of those things? Or are you busy seeing the cars go by or the kids playing or other things? What we're talking about is just kind of a little bit of a changing in mindset. So why is it so calming, and why does it change our mindset? There's scientific things about this. As most of you know me, I'm not deep into the sciences, but I know the feeling and what they're talking about. But just as a way of introduction, this is first brought to a thing that is done in Japan. And it's really become a thing. People like even travel there to be among the trees. I just have to go out the back door, front door, side door, wherever.
Any door.
Any door. But it's just needed in our generation where life is so busy and most of us live in the busy cities. I mean, I sometimes going to Penguin is too busy for me now that I have felt the difference. Okay, so this is why. It says, never have we been so far from merging with the natural world and to I'm going to start that one over, okay? Never have we been so far from merging with the natural world and so divorced from nature. By 2050, it says that 66% of our population will live in the cities, in the big cities. According to studies sponsored by the Environmental Protection Agency, the average American spends 93% of his time indoors. 93% of our time indoors. Think about that for a minute with you. How often do you go out to take a walk, just to take a walk, or just to maybe even just to go sit at the park? It's hard in our busy days right now to have that. But studies have shown that simply spending 10 to 20 minutes a day outdoors can lead to increased well-being and happiness and decreased amounts of stress. So, in short, we need our green space.
Mhm.
That's what it's fun to call it. Want to come to have some green space? And so, but the challenge is finding that and making it happen. So there's going to be 3 simple steps that we're going to talk about. Let me make sure I have my papers right. Okay. To help us to find this undisturbed peace. So the first step is, so like there's the 3 steps here that to go to experience Shinrin or forest bathing, not the oil, but forest bathing. The first one is to disengage from your daily routine. This is very, very challenging because how many of us go for a walk and take our phones with us?
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, but you don't have to leave your phone at home, but at least put it on silent so it doesn't disturb you. So not asking you to leave it at home, but at least put it in silent and make this your time. If you're with friends, walk quietly without doing a lot of talking. Think that's challenging?
Yep.
Can you imagine taking a walk in nature and neither of you speaking for an hour, but just, or 20 minutes, 20 minutes, and just having that peace with that camaraderie of your best friend walking with you and being in silent, listening to nature together. It just sounds like the best date.
Yeah. And Melody just put on the chat that if you put it in airplane mode and not just turn the ringer off, it doesn't even buzz. I didn't realize that. That is brilliant. So putting
That's
airplane
awesome.
mode is even better.
I like that.
Good job, Melody.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so the second step is breathing deeply and taking time to interact with nature. As you breathe, you'll feel your body relax as the wonders of your surroundings unfold before you. You can do this while standing, sitting, or walking, or laying on the ground. Be present in your space by watching the leaves move on the trees. Listen to the birds flying overhead and insects moving around you. I'm going to say, close your eyes and imagine that, having that kind of space. Okay, so now focus on some of your other senses, listening to birds, the running water, or wind moving through the forest canopy. Pay attention to the smells of the forest, like the conifer trees and the rich soil. Can anyone smell that rich soil? Also consider that what you aren't smelling that you usually do smell as a part of your urban life. Feel the rough bark on one of the trees, the smooth bark on another. Dip your fingers or maybe even your toes in some cool water. Touch a stone to your face or forehead and experience its cooler temperature compared to your surroundings. And of course, one of the best parts of forest bathing is communion with a tree. So some of you guys, I think, are already thinking, as you've had this kind of experience, other of us are going, commune with the tree. How do I do that? So we're all starting in different places, but just being in nature and feeling that and allowing to see it in more depth because it's so quiet is kind of what we're talking to is delving back in and just taking the time to breathe and connect in whichever way.
And if I could add that the times I've tried to do this, it takes effort. It's not like you can just say, I'm going to go outside and forest bathe and you know, your mind can be going a mile a minute. It takes effort to stop. And all the things you just said, think about hearing, feeling, you know, it just takes effort.
It does. And I'm not really going to cover a lot of it in this one, but the different seasons make it challenging. How do you do it for the different seasons? But it's incredible. If you want to watch something, I'll send it to you. But to think about touching, getting in tune with nature in the springtime is different than the summertime and the fall time. And how about the winter with the snow on the ground? It helps us to think about life in those different seasons and feel gratitude for the spring with the new growth, with the fall, with the leaves falling to the ground to get it warm and ready for winter, which we need to rest and refresh. And then so forest bathing is not just about a summer vacation off to the mountains. You can have it in your own neighborhood. It's how you approach it and to experience even the seasons that happen with it. Okay, the third step is to transition back into daily life. We go, oh darn, I don't have time. I want to stay out here, right? So you do that just by, I don't know, a thank you for the experience and an intention to keep that feeling with you. And then have to come back to reality. But it still grounds you for the day, for the week. And it's just so powerful. So, but what if we told you that we can make this forest bathing come into your home? That's why we're here to talk today, is having it here in our home. So scientists recently questioned how to bring nature indoors. They took volunteer medical students to a hotel. They had two groups, one that would go out and forest bathe and one that went to this hotel and diffused this. And then they did blood work. I don't know all the scientific names, terpenes and serpent, all of those kind of things. Yeah. I can't even say them, let alone.
This was terpenes, yeah.
Yeah, but it's the science in there, and they can test your blood and see what it does to your body in reducing stress. And those that were out forest bathing and those who were in a hotel room with the Shinrin-Yoku, the blood work came back amazingly the same. And so there's a study, if you want to get into that and see what that has to say. It's really quite amazing. But I can give my experience with all of this because when Shinrin-Yoku first came out, I went, what? Why? I don't get why you're doing this oil, But then, we all got a bottle of it, and I started using it and quickly found how calming it was. And I think I went through 10 bottles this past year because I use it pretty much every day. I haven't used it as much here up at the mountain, but I still do use it here. It's just incredible how it can ground me when I'm feeling anxious, when I'm just feeling like unsettled. It really does help bring that calming effect that we just talked about, going and connecting with the nature. It does help bring that in here as well.
So I am such a city girl, and when Heather commented hug a tree, I thought, I always think of hugging a tree. I know you said that in touching nature while you're out there, but I always think of hugging a tree as just those crazy environmentalists. Not that I don't love the environment and do my part to take care of it, but just hugging a tree isn't my idea of fun. But I feel like when I'm using this oil, I'm getting that feeling of appreciating the nature. And it comes into my head more. And then Melody said in here, winter helps her understand the silence better. And I'm a talker. And I said, I am too. It is so hard to be silent But I agree. Even just going outside helps me appreciate the silence better.
Yeah. Those are awesome comments, for sure. And so even living here among massive trees, I'm not a tree hugger, but I sure enjoy sitting by one and walking amongst them and even touching them sometimes as I go. You know, I might not sit and hug them, but I do that love and appreciation. But then that probably speaks more to personality than anything. So, okay, so this was Dr. Riggs's personal mission to bring us Shinrin-Yoku. It's the forest bathing blend. It was created by Dr. Hill and his amazing aroma story. Dr. Hill did do this, didn't he? And then
I'm not sure. Was it? I know it was Dr. Riggs that's so excited about sharing it, but
it's pushing it. Yeah. But in my notes, it said it was Dr. Hill.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'll bet it was both of them together.
Yeah.
They sounds like both of their personalities for sure. Let's see. I'm looking forward. Do you guys like to hear what oils are in it?
Yeah, you've got it on the screen, the
Have it on
ingredients there. Yep.
Yeah. Is there anyone in there that is surprising?
Well, I don't like the smell of petitgrain by itself, and I really don't like patchouli either, but I love Shinrin-Yoku. So somehow they put it together, and Magnolia is not my favorite either. So see, we're all different, but yet somehow when they put it together, it is enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't smell any one of them in itself.
I don't either.
It is a perfect blend.
Cardamom surprised me.
How come?
It's a spice. I guess I just didn't, and I'm not, a lot of this is how the organic elements work together to synergize too.
Yes.
Like when I smell the blends, I can't always pick out what's in there. I just know I love it.
Yep. Yep. Thanks, Melody.
Yeah, that is interesting that they have like a little bit of something from all four of the areas. The spices and the flowers and the citruses. Love it.
Yep.
Okay, so this is just a slide a little bit about the science behind it. For those who like that, I can't even pronounce it right, the science words in it, but I know what they mean and what they do. And I have an appreciation for them big time. Okay, so how do you use the Shinrin-Yoku? You can, the most effective way is to diffuse it in your home. That's my 99% of the way that I use it.
Me too.
I've never thought about pairing it with an arrangement. So it's diffusing through our decor. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
When I looked at this, I thought it would be interesting to put a passive diffuser in with some of the flower arrangements that Dave's done around our house and going around and putting a drop of that when people are coming. And it would just be kind of in the background everywhere. I like that.
Cracks me up that Dave's the one putting flower arrangements around your house. Well, I learned when I was at her house last time that Dave had a job doing flower arrangements. Oh, cool.
Yeah, well, we all know that Dave can do anything.
Yep.
Okay, so and then topically. Topically is always a very effective way of using it and keeping it right there with you. And so we have it both in the 15 ml bottles, but they also have it in the touch so you can keep it with you. So imagine being out on your highways with the stress of all of the cars and going, oh, this is just like too much, and needing that peace that comes from sitting in the forest. And grabbing out the Shinrin-Yoku touch and sticking it on your wrist and smelling it, putting it down the back of your neck. These are made in the best way that we can use them. I do a lot of diffusing Serenity and Shinrin-Yoku, alternating kind of for my night when I go to bed, because I love it so much that way. Okay. So that's the slides that I have.
Can I share just a little bit that I have one slide that they showed, I don't even know when, maybe at convention a year ago, but I kept it in my favorites so it's easy to find. And Dr. Riggs, they had themselves as test subjects, and they took just a handful of people. And so this is not a huge number of people, but I think he said it was 8, but he was one of the test subjects. And in using, so they tested their blood, they gave them all these tests on these few people. After one night of diffusion of Shinrin-Yoku, the average cortisol levels were significantly lower than average baseline. After 3 nights of diffusion, average cortisol levels were significantly lower than average baseline. Several participants showed positive changes in biomarkers related to a healthy inflammatory response. Several participants showed, and I'd never heard of this, increased natural killer cell counts and function. So I guess there's some cells that are natural killers of bad cells, which is a very healthy thing. Overall blood pressure readings in the morning following diffusion were decreased compared to control group. So get this, on average, systolic blood pressure fell 30 points, diastolic blood pressure fell 24 points, pulse dropped 10 points, morning cortisol levels fell 40%, lymphocyte count increased 15%, and get this, the natural killer cell count increased 59%. And they said this was, I think, after a week of just using.
Those are amazing. 30-point drop in your blood pressure is extremely
And so
high.
when I saw this, that's what made me say, oh, this isn't just a throwaway cute oil that they gave us. This is gold. And I, like Jolene, just started using it at night all the time.
And that's 2 immune system responses that went up.
Yep. So pretty cool.
Which means you're not fighting. It's work. So you hear a lot of autoimmune stuff.
Yes.
This is going against the autoimmune stuff.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So my mom had MS, and one of the things that I was involved in a vitamin company at the time, and one of the things that they were saying is when you give antioxidants to your body, the autoimmune can attack the antioxidants and not your body. So that's kind of what's happening here, I think, is that, it's increasing your immune system so that you aren't fighting yourself. You're actually working with yourself and the foreign invaders. So yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Pretty cool. It's
Thanks
almost
for getting
like
geeky, guys.
Yeah, it's like sleeping outside every night.
Beautiful.
Giving yourself the blessing of that.
I'm glad you pulled up that study. That there was that one in the control group, the first one that they did with them, and they saw those in the other study too. But I didn't have all of those statistics. I couldn't find that one. I knew that they had given us all of that. So thank you for getting that. That's really valuable. And a lot of times when you have that scientific experience behind us, it gives us a lot more confident instead of just, oh, it's fun thing out there. It really is foundational in helping us have those added benefits in our life with no effort.
Yeah. And now that you say that, what you just said reminded me, your question, do you see anything unusual in this blend, in these ingredients. What I see is what's not there. I would have assumed, well, it's this kind of tree and this kind of tree and this kind of tree and this, I would have assumed it was from all these different kinds of trees.
Hmm.
And it's not. So
Yeah,
they've done their research, given us some good stuff.
that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
My Matthew's with me, and he said missing the forest through the trees.
Yeah. You're
But
good,
I
boy. Oh my goodness.
the
Oh,
citruses uplift, right? So it's just
Yep.
interesting how they put all of this together. It's
Yeah.
not just one thing, too, right?
Yep. And they really know what they're doing. Thank you, Jolene, for that wonderful information. It's given me a little more jealousy for your house because I keep thinking you could just step out on the back porch. But we're so blessed to have Shinrin-Yoku, so we can have some of those experiences ourselves. Thank you so much. And thank you for your input, Melody and Heather, for being here. It is a joy to share these things. I have had so much fun this week sharing VMG. So VMG is the new vitamins, minerals, and greens that is in a powder in a packet. And I can't tell you how many people are saying, oh my word, I don't have to take LLV and all those pills anymore. And I've had some people say, what do I do with my LLV? And I'm like, just finish it up, and then try this. I just love sharing it with people because they're very excited about having a new option for the vitamins. So this not this weekend, not tomorrow, or not this Friday and Saturday, but next Friday and Saturday, I'm having an open house. If you want to come and just taste things and see what these new products are like, check out the frankincense stuff. Love to have you there. And our next masterclass will be on November 20th, and we're going to talk about gift and holiday ideas using these natural things. So I think that'll be a fun class too. Thank you so much for getting on. Thank you. Thank you for the heart, Heather. You're so wonderful. Jolene, you're wonderful. Thanks for sharing great information. Love y'all.
Bye, guys.